Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Julie, and we're with Zentegration.com. We are continuing with our series on the art of being a Zentologist, and today what we want to tap into is grounding living in your body. And there is a big topic here. Tim and I think we could have a 3-hour conversation without breathing, really, on this conversation, because we live in Sedona. And so we have a lot of exposure to people who they're here on their spiritual path, and unfortunately, what we've noticed when they come into the space for that experience, they're completely out of their bodies.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and not that that's a completely bad thing, but if you really want to integrate and be everything that you're learning and practicing, you have to be in the physical body in being grounded. And so some of the exercises that you'll see in our upcoming program, Zent Core, is how to do that, how to get in your body. And it's important.
Okay, this is funny. People are listening and watching, and they may not live in Sedona. They're going, but I am in my body. What are you talking about? I mean, they don't really understand what we're really saying. So I'm just wondering if there's a better way for us to try to explain that. Because have you ever walked around? Maybe I'll start with that. This is my experiences. Have you ever walked around and you people at work, whatever, and you talk to them, and they're just totally space cadets. They're just out there. Their brain is somewhere else. They think that life was all about sitting on a mountain being zen, or they may just exercise and do it. And I guess maybe exercise is a bad example because that's all about the body. But people who are really not focused. It's not about the physical body. It's about being in presence with your body and really having a connection between the heart and the body and the mind. And a lot of people focus on one or the other, or they actually get out of balance, and really being in the body in the context of being present. It's really about being present, and it's about acknowledging the physicality of our body and how we function and operate, and not ignore this. This is such an important piece of what is given to us, as a gift, and we just simply occupy this for a certain amount of time, and then we're off somewhere else. So, in that context, being a space cadet, just being airy-fairy, just talking about things, and really not being grounded in reality is what we're talking about. And you've seen those people in your work, in your church or your synagogue or wherever. So that's what we're talking about here. And you want to add some of your experience on them?
Sure. Actually, all of us have had experiences when we've come out of our bodies. And one of the things I wanted to touch on that I was reminded of when Tim was speaking here is that if you've had a traumatic experience too, it's not just if you've made a conscious decision to do a spiritual practice. We find people who've had traumatic experiences, for instance, will step outside of their inner self, and a part of them actually just observes the body, because the pain that the body hangs on to, the cellular system hangs on to all these memories. And it is difficult to be grounded in the body and fully experience the pain, which is ironic because you need to come back in your body and allow yourself to feel the pain in order for it to actually be healed. So there's a lot of benefits to grounding that most people don't even talk about.
There's some science behind this, very interesting. If you haven't seen this on YouTube or on the internet, there's some science about people are buying the grounding plates. So they'll sit in their lovely cozy chair or whatever, and they have a plate that is typically copper or some metallic thing, and that has a grounding element. They've actually done some studies up in Alaska, I think it's Alaska, where they've actually take a grounding wire in the ground, and they run the ground wire into plants and flowers, and it actually it's amazing that the flowers actually last like phenomenally longer in terms of their life cycle, and even after you don't water them, they still hold their energy. So the grounding nature of this is really science is involved here too. So we won't really go there, but this is really about just being in your body. Just be you have to be in and be present. It's almost like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it. Okay, so you want to take yourself further, and yes, there's a lot of pain. We all go through pain, and we don't want to disconnect from all those issues. But you got to return here before you can really move forward. And you're not going to do that work. You're not going to do the healing processes or the next step in your journey standing outside your body, looking inwards, and saying, "Who the heck is this person?" Right?
Mm-hmm. And you know, the other thing that I need to mention is manifesting. There's so much that's been going on ever since The Secret came out in 2002, 2003 about manifesting your dreams. You got to be in your body to do it. You need to be grounded. This is how the universe actually talks to us. Otherwise, we're up here and we can't do action when we're out of our bodies. And meditation is fantastic, and yoga is fantastic, and sitting in nature is fantastic because we get to kind of blend the two. But when it comes to really manifesting, we can get clarity in those spaces when we start shuffling all these layers off. And then we get to go into actually the action steps that we are given when we go into those spaces of meditation, where we can do that grounded. So there's a lot of benefits to grounding, and that of course will all be covered when in Zen Core when that comes out. And again, we want to hear your questions, your answers. Did you want to add anything else, Jim, to what we've talked about so far on grounding?
So that kind of wraps up the conversation around grounding. There's going to be some exercises in Zen Core. And once again, it's Zent, Z-E-N-T-C-O-R-E. I think we just jumped into explain this. So if this is your first video you're watching and you missed the first one, Zen Core is a program that Julie and I are putting together that's going to be practical steps and processes to help you really integrate the 12 steps of what we call the steps to be a Zentologist, which is a terminology that we put together that covers that. So if you want to know the details of what Zentologist, let you go back to the previous video and see if you can find it and track us down. So Zentologist is a state of being, and Zentegration has 12 high-level steps of awareness that we are building programs around, and it will be embodied in the program called Zen Core. So that's a little explanation of what's coming, and we look forward to your feedback. This is going to be in the social media, so feel free to post if there's messages here, to post your comments so we can get some feedback about the topics you'd like to hear. We are going to cover the next topic, which is, Julie?
Present moment.
And that means what?
Being present.
Yeah. And they need to see the next video for that one.
And they need to see the next video for that one. And so, again, like Tim mentioned, please tell us your biggest problem with grounding. Where is your difficulty?
And that's not the grounding when you were a kid, okay? And you get your middle name called out, okay? So.
Yes. So, thank you so much. We're really looking forward in bringing you more of our tips to being in the art of Zentology and being a Zentologist. And more is coming. We still have, another 10 to go. So thank you everybody, and we look for your posts on Facebook.
Until next time, this is Tim and Julie from Zentegration.com.